Hi, Caleb. Thanks for your post for this week. I think you made some really nice comments about Iran, and you had a lot to say about the status quo and the changing trends in Iran. So I just want to talk about some aspects that you mentioned and these changing aspects of um, Iran moving away from the status quo that I got from your post for this week. And in your post, you mentioned disconnect between the leaders and the citizens, as well as being weary of foreign interference. Iran, obviously, you mentioned, does not want any Western influences, does not have a decent relationship with the West and even the United States, and so you talked about that. However, these trends and I think these are trends of the status quo and what Iran has based so much of their influence off of and their the way that their society has been and their government has been. And I think they try to keep these foundations. However, I believe these trends are changing, which is a push away from the status quo. And it's probably beneficial for the citizens that it's pushing away from the status quo and that these aspects have changed. First of all, the disconnect between the leaders and the citizens has changed because there's not a full connection now between leaders and citizens, but there's a little bit more connection between the two with freer elections and with citizens being able to go out and voice their opinion and go out and vote in more freer elections, not full freer elections, but more freer elections. And then this move away from being wary of foreign interference because young Iranians, and the book mentioned this, young Iranians have become strongly attracted to Western culture. They see Western culture from the internet and they gain this interest of the Western culture. So I think this is a push away from the status quo that is going to prove to be beneficial for Iran because the young Iranians are seeing the influences of the West and could potentially adopt some of the influences of the West that could end up changing the status quo and helping Iran. So, therefore, I'd have to argue that the status quo in Iran is becoming less existent because of the changes that are taking places in Iran. Like I mentioned, the less disconnect between the leaders and the citizens, and less of being wary of foreign interference, like interference from the Western culture. So I think you picked a great country this week, and I look forward to more posts from you.